Howdy, folks. Just wanted to go over how to use this client that I'm initially running to help you configure a file that we'll call config.ini. So this is an ini file that is distributed as part of the um, package. There's only two files, an executable file that runs or an application file. There's two versions available for both Mac and Windows. There's another version available for Linux, but I'm not going to distribute that, but it can be done. So anyways, back to this ini file. This is the same on all operating systems. So we have here three different sections. The first thing you need to configure is the email settings. Now, in my tutorial videos right here under on my blog quantlabs.net/blog crypto trading quant analytics tutorials, in here what I talk about towards the end is a section on here about email deliverability and options. So I talk about that in basically how this file works. And essentially, these are your options. You could sign up with, basically, you could use a Gmail or a Yahoo service, but it will delay sending out the email to you. That's a trade signal because it will filter out any potential spam in the email body or headline. So there are two options you could kind of use. This will help eliminate those delays. You could use Proton Mail or you could use privateemail.com from Namecheap. That one's $12 a year. The other one, Proton Mail, is $2 a month or something like that. And what you would still need to do is to figure out your IMAP configuration settings, which is essentially this field right here, the domain, because there's different ways to send out email. I use IMAP. And the other thing you need to understand is the port, and this depends upon the service that you use. So those are the critical pieces of information you'll need from whatever email service you go with. But um, one thing I will tell you is if you watch these other videos here under the Python client script setup and next steps, that may confuse you, but it could be helpful to understand what I'm talking about here about configuration of this email. But those are the two settings you'll need to know from whatever service you go with. Another thing you'll probably have to contend with is when you do get emails sent out from my server, what will happen is, depending upon your email client, if it's Gmail, Yahoo, even any of these, Proton or private email, you will be challenged with the concept that your email, that email may end up in a spam or a promotions inbox, or and the client that I'm about to show you might not receive it. So this is part of the challenges you go with email, but it gets a lot worse when it is dealt with in terms of messaging queuing like Signal or Telegram. But this is the best option for email delivery. If you can, you know how to, is you may want to set up a custom domain, whatever you want. Just use it for simply email only. You can choose a variety of services, which I'll show you in a minute. But it's essentially what you're doing when you use a custom domain and using the email of that domain is you have absolute control over the spamming rules that you set, or even you can override what the hosting provider sets, because you're only going to get maybe 5, 10, 20, usually that I've seen no more than 100 emails a day. So that's not like any form of abuse, but still you will potentially have these rules to contend with. So essentially what you want to look for is a hosting service that will give you the option for using cPanel, which is a program that gives you a variety of options when it comes to websites and operating websites, but all you really care about is the email component. That's it. And here you can get it for like as little as $3 a month. So this is just an example of some of the options out there. So just click this and you'll get to take into this. So you have different services like Bluehost, SiteGround, InMotion. I'm not choosing any one above the other, but this is just one popular site to go through which server, which provider gives you cPanel. So essentially you go through this, and just as an example, you have HostGator here, and that might be one option. So it's like $3 a month for this service. All right. One of the things is that you get when you use this methodology and you run into problems in terms of configuring this thing, you have the ability, you get 24/7, 7 days a week, 365 days of customer support. Okay, so if you have a problem with email and sending out email, whoever you go with will help you. Okay, and that's what you're paying for. So even if you're non-technical, they can for sure guide you through the process. But essentially what you're wanting to do is to get up your cPanel email. So let me just show you an example here. So as I said, we go with HostGator. HostGator will walk you through this option. And what you can do is, let me see here. So in here, I've like as an example, how to do this. So this link right here, like on HostGator, will walk you through the process to set it up, how to log into cPanel, how to set up your email, and so on and so forth, and then create the email account. And so, and then from there you can send out emails and test your emails. And this is what my program, the Python script that I'll provide you, connects into. So once you have control over that, as I said, you will be able to override any of the spamming rules that other providers will put you through, namely Yahoo, Gmail, Outlook, as I said, Proton, or this private email. This is why this is the better option, okay? And it's kind of straightforward, and you also get the support, as I mentioned, from whoever you go with. In this case, let's say just out of the blue, HostGator, right? So then what you're trying to do is once you set it up, in there you will be able to find what you need for that IMAP setting, which is usually going to be whatever your domain will be, and you'll need to ask the port, and then of course your email that you set up, as well as a password to authenticate that password. So this is what I'm speaking about. So let me just relaunch this. So if I launch this program, okay, we have here a panel, okay, and I'm trying to make this as simple as possible for people. But essentially what it will do is it will go through this INI configuration file, okay? So again, let's rewind. So once you set up your email server on your hosting provider, if you choose that, or if you just want to be lazy and go with Yahoo, Gmail, you can do that. You will need to provide your email and your password. And again, when you set up this signaling service, I would strongly recommend just to use this email only for trading signals coming out of my server, okay? So you have your email, your password that you set, your port, which is usually 993, but that may change depending upon your email provider, and then the host on where that email service is made available. And as I said, the format we're using is IMAP, so that's something that you, or protocol, IMAP protocol, so you may want to note that as well. And then once you know your hosting server, then you're good on the email front. Now lastly, in the same configuration file, you need to put in your API key and your secret key from Binance. Where to get that information? Very simple. Just come up here, and I've got a video here at this tutorial page, again, called Crypto Trading Quant Analytics Tutorials at quantlabs.net/blog, okay? So look for that page. And then once what you're going to do, this video will walk you through to get those access, those keys, okay? I just had a few people watch this video. It was pretty straightforward. So once you get those keys and understand that, then what you can do is put all those keys into here, and this information is what you need to guard very closely, because if you get a hacker or whoever, let's just say a hacker, get these keys, they can do and get into your Binance account, which you kind of don't want. So you want to kind of guard this file and keep it in a safe place. But this program that we're going to run needs to be in the same folder or directory as your configuration file called config.bot.ini. So your next step is to run it, and as I said, you'll get this panel, and all you got to do is push the get email user, and it will bring in information from your configuration file. So there's two things you can do. You can put your information in the file, or you can, as I said, click on any of these fields and then put in a new change for that field and override it. Okay, so let me just show you what we're doing here. So we have the email, the port 993, we have the email host, which whatever your domain is, and then we have the keys, the API key and the secret key. And then the next step, once you have all that information loaded up, all you got to do is do launch bot, and what will happen is here in your terminal or console, it will connect into your email. If it doesn't, it will let you know, and you've got to configure it obviously correctly to get that working. And that's going to be potentially a tricky, but I will provide some Python scripts to help you diagnose that, as well as knowing that your program is ready to able to receive trading signal emails through your email configuration setup. Hi there, everybody. So we've got a running session of this program. The configuration information has been filled out as shown in the previous clip. Once you get everything all done, and what you want to pay attention to is your terminal console. All you gotta do is click launch bot. Once everything's filled and working, what should happen here is you'll notice here that will now connect into your mail server, and then it's ready to go. This message checking now will consistently be like equivalent of a heartbeat to show you it's alive. And then what will happen is it's just a test signal you don't need to really worry about, but just to show you that it's working, you will get, once the signals come in, you'll get this message saying new message, and then the current date, the time of the signal, the side exit or entry, the symbol, as well as the latest closing price. And then that point, once the signal is received, it should place your order in with Binance right away, because you've set up, hopefully correctly, your API and secret key here, and that's it. And so you can keep this program running 24/7 on your system. As I said, it's recommended to have a dedicated email for this. Also, to pretty well have an entire whole system only running this, because that way you eliminate all potential conflicts in terms of other software processes, if there are any. And then from there, you just let it run, and you let it run as long as you want, 24/7, and you just consistently receive signals, and that's it. And in order to break the process or the bot itself, running of the bot, all you do, in my case, I'm on a Mac, Control C, and then that will eliminate the panel as well as the Python program as well. And then you may get this message keyboard interruption, and then that's it. Then you could just relaunch and do everything again, and that's it. Hopefully that'll be easy. And just remember that this is an evolution of software to get it to a point where it's easy to distribute and to make it as less technical as possible for people, and make it easy for them to get everything configured, set up, that meaning the email and your Binance API key and secret key. And that's pretty well it. Hopefully that'll mean something to you. Thanks for watching.